Hello. I think we're live. StreamYard reminded me to greet the people who are watching the replay. So, also hello to the people who are watching the replay. Sometimes I forget that people like watch these again. So if you're here from the replay, hello. But anyways, I'm here a little early cuz I don't know. I just felt like coming on early. Today I did an earlier time than last time because like I've been a bit surprised that like more people tend to come to like the earlier times on Friday. Anyway, we'll see. We'll see. Which do you prefer? Like, because I've been trying to do them a little later. I think I might have to do them like even later. Like for the people who work 9 to 5, like on weekdays. Um, but we'll have to see. I get so fatigued at night. That's why I haven't really done them past like 4:30 or so. But I see 5 people are here. Hello. I see Sammy was first. Thank you for being here. um, Hi Miko. Thanks for coming. Hi Caitlin. Um, right. I think that because typically like the UK is like 5 hours ahead of me, but I think because we like went forward, um, now it's like 4, so that's kind of nice. It's like less of a gap. At least for a little bit. I know. I think you guys are shifting eventually. Hello, hi, thanks for coming. Um, Hello. Yeah, I know. Like 4:30 is kind of late. I think that the demographics that I have the most of, it's like the America first and then um UK. So the US has like 3 times on. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just going off of what we have in Canada. So I try to be inclusive about it. While also like streaming at a time where like my brain is like working. Um, what am I writing today? Well, today is a exciting day. It's now 2, so more people might come in. We're just kind of chatting. Um, I hit 100,000 words in Sunless Ground, which is this contemporary fantasy sequel I've been working on. If you know about um, Seventh Virtue, this is the sequel. And so I hit 100K today, which is kind of cool. Like I really try not to like focus too much like on word counts, especially like this year. Like I turned off word counts in my documents I mentioned before because like I don't know, it's starting to stress me out. But I also don't think it's a bad thing to celebrate. So I'm excited to celebrate hitting 100K today. It's also like an important day for me. Not only isn't this the day, like this is an important day on Tumblr for reasons that I don't know that much about, but it's also the day that I bought Palladium by Grace and Chance. So it's a great day for me because that's like my favorite album. I have like the little poster up there. Anyways, so it's kind of nice that I hit 100K on today of all days. So that's what I'm doing. Hi, thanks for coming. How long is sorry, Melissa says, how long is this right with me? We typically go for like an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then like we'll do like maybe like between 1 to 3 sprints. I try to do at least 2. I do have something to write though, so I'm kind of excited to actually jump into writing. But we usually chat for a while at the beginning. Fedina says, I just opened my laptop for editing and there's a Rachel stream. Hello. That's awesome timing. Hi, thanks for coming. Yeah, it is a Wham vinyl. Let me grab it. I was like, George Michael is just like staring at us. Let's grab it. I have many actually. I've shown this before on another stream. I think like 2 weeks ago, I think I showed these, but I went downtown Toronto because I saw that these were in stock at one point. And so it's got like their faces on it. It's cool. This is actually from the 80s. Like I think that they just repressed these. I think for Make It Big, and then their faces on the back. Anyway, so I had that, and then I know I've showed these before, but for the people who have not been here, I'm just gonna stand these up very carefully over here. I'm not really a vinyl person, funnily, even though I own all these vinyl. And then surprisingly, they had the whole monogamy mix of I Want Your Sex, which is so cool. I wasn't expecting that. They didn't have that online. And when the guy showed it to me, he was like, "Oh, like, oh, there's this other thing by George Michael." Because I was like, "Oh, I saw something else," and I was like, "I will take it." So, and then on the inside, I have the 45 of "I Want Your Sex," which is just part one and two. This is like my favorite song, I think, off of Faith. And then "Careless Whisper" on 45. "Careless Whisper" is also on the "Make It Big" vinyl, but it's different. Like I don't know, maybe they have this like online, like on streaming. I don't stream, so I don't usually listen to many different versions of songs, but it's a different version on "Make It Big" than on like the 45 and like the one that I'm kind of used to hearing. And then I've shown this one definitely. The actual Faith 45 with the cute picture. So yeah, that's my little collection. These are the only vinyl I'm trying not to collect vinyl now because first of all, I don't love vinyl. Like I just find it, I like it. It's not that I don't like it. I do. It's just I love CDs more. So I would rather invest in CDs. But then like I've unfortunately I think I'm starting to really like it. Like I'm starting to like vinyl. I'm like, this is not good for my bank account like at all. So I'm just trying to like cut it. I'm not. I don't want to. I don't want that to be my new thing. Um, Yay! You got a new laptop. That's great. New laptops are always so fun. Oh, I haven't gotten a new laptop in a while. But mine is funnily, it's still going very strong. So I hope it can last me like 10 years. It would be nice. Stein says, I don't know what to write. I've got too many stories begging for me to write them. Oh, that's real. Honestly, not knowing what's right is like, I feel like that every day. Especially now that I've finished the trilogy of novellas. Like it took like a year full circle to write all the novellas. I'm like, I don't know, like if deciding what to write isn't as simple because I don't necessarily have like that's what I'm like working on project. Sunless Ground sort of, but let me catch up. I'm excited to be here. I'm always at work when you're streaming, so I usually miss them. But today I got out just in time. Yay! I'm so excited that you could be here. I know I try so hard with the times, but I feel bad because I try to be like as inclusive with the time as possible. But then I get tired, like I get fatigued, so I can't do them too late. I want to try to do like a later one at one point, but we'll see. Like one like way in the evening. I think I did one years ago at like 8 p.m. Something like that could be nice. Hello. So glad I could make it. It's another writing stream been working, so I couldn't make the others. Same thing with I want to do these at different times, but I typically do them either I do them at 2, 3, 4, or 4:30 on Friday. Just wish I had some ideas to write about. That's me. I never have ideas. To be honest, like as a writer, I have so few ideas. I'm not really like a brainstorming kind of person. I'm not good at that. So I don't typically have an abundance of things to write. But what are you guys working on? I was talking earlier, right as the stream opened, if you just joined, about what I was doing. Hello, hi T Frog. I see you in the chat. Let me put my cup down. Hi. Yeah, I don't know what else I'm sort of doing. Like, I'm not trying to stress out about it. You know what? Honestly, since something happened recently, like I've just been feeling good. I've been feeling like pretty chill with writing. Where like I've been very stressed about it since like last June-ish. So it's kind of nice to not like sweat too much. Oh, cool. That's a nice title. Working on a novel called Going Dutch. Nice. What genre is that? I have some ideas for some ideas. An idea that somebody had asked me on Tumblr yesterday, how how long do you sit like with an idea like before it's like kind of ready, something along those lines. And I said what I usually say, which is like I don't really wait. Like I just kind of write because like discovering is just as important for me as like I don't know the seed of an idea. Like I have to understand what I'm writing. I have to write it. At the same time, like there's some like books and ideas where I need to sit on it for a little bit. I just need to let it fester. I like kind of compulsively like write notes now because I get very anxious about like forgetting ideas. This never used to be a problem. It's a recent problem where like I have to like write down every single idea I get. If not, like I'm gonna be very anxious about it. So I'm trying to like let go a little and like let this sort of idea simmer in the back of my head. See kind of how it goes. Okay, you're still working on New Haven. Yeah, that's awesome. Um, Still trying to finish first draft of a novel I've been working on for over 3 years. Okay, some novels are like that. That's totally fine. Like Feeding Habits took me two 2.5 years to write. So some of them just take longer. Okay, and that was speculative fiction. The novel Going Dutch. It's about a woman who moves to another country after riots break out. Oh, interesting. Rylan says I sit on almost all my ideas for a year plus before writing them. Oh wow. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, it's not that I don't like let an idea sit. I do. It's just like sometimes. It's not like for example, last year when I wrote Body Back. Oh gosh, it's crazy that was a year ago, but it also feels like forever ago at the same time. I feel like a very different person. um I can't remember how I got the idea. Oh, I was just sitting down one day and I was like, "Oh, how cool would this be for like an idea for?" Because I had reread Mothwork, and like 10 minutes later, I had written like the opening paragraph, and then kind of thought about it. Like the next day, continues to write. It depends on the project, I think. Some of them like come to me very strongly. If you've read the or have heard me read the opening paragraph of Body Back, you can probably tell why like I just kind of went, balls to the wall with that one because it's a pretty strong voice, so that was kind of easy. Um, Mixing writing with my journaling. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. I'm trying to do more handwriting. I've been talking about that on the streams. I haven't done journaling, which I probably should because I find that like it helps. But then I forget to actually do it. T Frog says I'm working on a few things. A sequel to Cryptid Falls, a book about a child in World War II, and some retellings. Ooh, that's a great title. First of all, the title for the first book, Cryptid Falls. That's nice. And retellings are always so fun. I want to do a retelling. You know what I was thinking of? I really want to write like a book, not a book, more like a little fan fiction. Well, it would be a book, but like little fan fiction moment for myself. Again, like fan fiction of my own work because I just love doing that. But set, sometime back in history. I'm not sure exactly when. My sister really likes history, so I've been trying to she's been telling me some historical events I might want to write around. Anyways, I just have to do some research on it. But beyond that, I was also thinking of doing because last year I pitched um a Cinderella retelling like when I was in school, and it was like kind of loosely, not really big, but like loosely inspired by like Lonan and Harrison. And so it was kind of fun to like think of them in like kind of like a queer Cinderella retelling. And anyway, so I kind of want to write it because there was some good plot, like there were some good moments, or like at least inject them into Homeless Ground. I could definitely do that too. Just hit 53K. Oh, nice. Good for you. That's awesome. Okay, we're all hitting milestones today. um, Hello, thank you for coming. Stein says my oldest story started in 2016 and I still don't have a first draft. Okay, listen, like it's fine. Like sometimes it takes time. Stories sometimes just some of them just want to take longer. Anytime I've ever tried to like set out like a strong deadline, like for like writing, I've always like never met the deadline. Like I thought I'd finish Changing States in like a month because it was originally supposed to be like a 5,000 word short story, and then I finished it in January and it was a 30,000 novella. So, what are the projects you're working on at the moment? For me, I have a fantasy novel and a short story I'm currently working on. Yeah, I'm working on because I finished Changing States, I'm not really working on like literary fiction seriously right now. I'm working on Sunless Ground, which I've written a lot of. I found like the project is working this way where like I'll take like a week or so, like where or 2 weeks where it feels like, oh, like nothing's coming, like no writing is actually happening. And then like in 2 days, I'll write like 10,000 words. I don't know what's happening with that book. I'm not complaining. It's going very well. So fun. I've been having so much fun. Um, but other than that, I'm also working on Lost Gods, which I mentioned a couple times on the stream, which is like the literary fiction sequel of Body Back, which is the novella, which is the sequel to Mothwork. Very complicated timeline. But anyways, so that's kind of what I've been working on. Lost Gods, I'm trying not to like take that seriously. And it's actually very fun just to kind of write it in little bits and pieces that I don't have any idea how they connect. So um I need an idea written somewhere, otherwise I'll forget it. Yeah, that's me, like with the anxious writing down of ideas, because like I don't think I've ever really forgotten an idea that like I really wanted to remember. I haven't. Maybe like tiny little things maybe I've forgotten. And maybe in the span of the 10 years I've been writing, that's happened like 3 times. But for some reason, like I'm so like anxious about it. I'm like, no, I have to write it down right away. I'm trying to break that. Hello, thanks for being here, even though you're at work. Thank you for coming. Um, I bought a notebook for writing any and all ideas I get in my head, but sometimes I don't have it near me, so I have to write it in my notes app, which defeats the purpose of the notebook. I kind of treat the notes app and the notebook like they're related almost. I've loved writing in both my notebook and both my notes app. It's just been so fun to kind of get back to that. Those are things I used to do a lot more often, and it's just nice to do again. Um Okay, we have a question. Rachel, my creative writing professor told me that I struggle to get in the head of a character. Do you have any advice on how to do that? Characterization questions, I'm always so hesitant to answer, not because like I don't want to answer them, but because like I don't think of myself as very like actively good and aware of like how to characterize. Which might seem funny because a lot of people think that I'm very good at characterization. I don't think that I'm not good at it. I just don't think that I'm like have a lot of things to say about characterization. Um But if I'm trying to think, if you're trying to get into the head of a character, I think you have to find the way, because I can't give it advice on like how a specific writer like should do a specific thing. This is a very specific thing, how to get into a head of a character. So you have to find like a way that would work for you to like empathize with somebody. For me, like I really struggle to empathize with my characters. I think part of that is like a neurodivergent thing. Like I just struggle to like sort of empathize with what situations I'm putting the characters through. So for me, a lot of time is needed, and that might not be helpful when you're in a creative writing program. But trying if I don't have like an extended period of time, trying to spend what time I do have like really immersed in their world. So like creating playlists has been helpful. Like associating music with them has been helpful. Art, trying to understand their interests. Like right now, I'm trying to research. I want to go to the AGO in Toronto soon. Actually, I think I can go because it's free for people under 25. Um, to like go and research one day. Maybe I'll go next week. Like what art like Harrison likes, because like that's a very specific thing about him. Like what? Okay, he's an artist. What does he like? What's he interested in terms of art history? So little things like that. Like I know the overall like workings of the character. What are like a little like more specific things that I can research that are a exciting to me because I will get bored, and b like informative because I think learning about a character through media they might engage with is helpful. Now that's easy for me to say because I write quite contemporary, so that might you might have to adjust that if you're not writing in like work set in the contemporary world. But like setting my book in, for example, like in 2005, like at a specific time, specific city, has been really helpful. So you can even like extrapolate how you understand like a character or get into their head through the setting. I don't know. Anyway, those are just some ideas. I'm not again not really great at talking about characterization because I don't know. I think part of why I can get into my characters' heads is because I know them very well. It's been like 10 years. They're like my oldest friends. Speaking of oldest friends, I see my actual oldest friend is in the chat. Hello, hi bestie. Oh my god, not bestie number 2. Okay, everybody I know is here. If other people have things to say though, let me know because I still struggle to get into like the heads of new characters too. I think that's normal. Um, Doing my first round of revision, such a messy draft, ready to take this whole manuscript to the trash. I can't. Oh no, I know that feeling. I know that feeling. It's so hard. Listen, it's just like a pull through kind of moment. Like you just gotta cling to the writing and hope. That's at least what I do. Um, Help! I am not being. I'm not exaggerating. I'm being honest. There's 28 people here, and Ashley is embarrassing me in the chat. See, I knew I said this at the right time because the last time not nearly as many people were here. So for some reason, a lot of people are available at 2:17 Eastern Standard Time in the afternoon. But you are literally the only 2 people I know. So ready to fill. Yes, thank you so much. Anyways, so I think we can get started, like maybe on writing in like 5 minutes. Um, I I'm excited because I've already written a lot for today. I do have work to do, so you really what I should do is like do the work, which is exciting. I've had very much fun doing whatever. I have to finish something and then I have to finish something else. But I'm like really eager to start writing this new scene. I talked about this the last time. It's been like the last 3 times that I have done these streams. I've said that I have like abandoned Harrison in the narrative. So like Harrison, who like I always just say these names on streams, like assuming the people who are here like know what I'm talking about, but it was my narrator. Um, he and Reeve, who's the other narrator, like they both narrate the book. I have abandoned him in the book. I it's been like over a month. And you would think I would have been excited to write this part because it's cool. It was introducing a new character, but I am lazy. Like I work so hard, like in literary fiction, right? Like I work so hard to write Body Back, Hello Bodies. What's the other one? Oh, Changing States. How did I forget Jeremiah? Okay, Jail. Anyways, um, I work so hard in literary fiction that like I don't wanna I don't wanna put effort into someone's ground if I don't have to, or like extra effort. I always put effort into the things that I enjoy, but like I don't if I can avoid it, it'd be great. So I didn't want to write this, but I just left him there. He is in the middle of the scene. He's been living on in Lost Gods. Like he like went back 5 years in time because he's 21 in Lost Gods and 26 in On This Ground. Went back in time, went back in years. And now he's just like chilling like in the literary fiction universe, but I have left him to suffer by himself in canon, and I'm going to continue to do so. I am not going to change my path. I don't feel like writing with him at all, so until like I absolutely have to because the plot cannot progress without him, he's going to be stuck like 30,000 words in the past, which is fine for me. um might suck for him, but whatever. um where I am, it's my downtime, so perfect time to come stream. Oh, yay! Okay, that's awesome. Um, we're gonna keep doing the streams as long as I can. So I'm trying to continue to do them weekly, but let me set up. Oh, I should say let me set up this timer here, and then I'm at the part of the book that is super fun. Technically, I should start a new part. I did though. The problem is the parts in On This Ground were much, or Seventh Virtue were much shorter. So it doesn't make sense to have another part here because then it would just be like we just started part 2. Anyways, we're at the part of the book where Reeve is like gonna go on a little mission by herself, and she just talked to her brother, and like they kind of revealed too much in the conversation that I wasn't expecting. I was like, so now I'm like, there might be a slight logic problem with her going, but I don't care. Like, whatever, not a big deal. Moving on doesn't really make sense for it does. It's just like I'm kind of side eyeing Lonan, like, you're not doing anything, and you probably should now that he has said certain things that he wasn't supposed to say before. Oh well. I'm going to share my screen because let's get started. Wow, look at me, like, not talking for 45 minutes before we get started on writing. Though I think a lot of you are here for when I just keep talking because I notice when I do the streams or the sprints, a lot of people leave, which is fine. So I'm pulling up my document. I still haven't turned word count back on, by the way. Like, I have not found it helpful at all. Like, I don't miss it. Like to not have the word count there, I don't care. Actually, not having it is ideal. So, anyways, I'm going to share. My microphone's in the way. I'm gonna move this. Word count, boo! I see it in the chat. I hope I'm not causing alarming sounds on the microphone, but yeah, I just have not been trying to like focus too much on word count because it's like it's not been that useful for me. But I do check it after I write a substantial amount or I feel like I've written a couple of pages. I'll check it. I check it every day. It's just not like I don't want to be staring at it forever. The page count is starting to bother me now. I'm like, what do you mean it's been 102,000 words and we're only on page 288? I'm just kidding, but let me present here. Okay, I am going to yeah, okay. I'm gonna hit go on this sprint, and then I'll see you guys after 15 minutes. I did not make it fast enough to to turn off that timer. I'm sorry if that scared you. The one time I left the timer and everyone was like, "That scared me." So every single time I try to make it back in time in order to stop it, but I failed. I feel like Rylan says, "Oh, jump scare." I feel like my voice is more of a jump scare than the timer, but I guess people really don't like hearing that thing. Um, Good for you for writing 125 words. That's awesome. I checked and I don't know what. Okay, you know what happened to me? My best friend Jeremiah made a cameo. I'll talk about it in a second, but sorry for scaring you. I had to finish my sentence though. I was like, they will forgive me. Anyways, I am writing like Reeve. I love this is one random Easter egg about my writing. If there's one thing about like anything I write in the Fostered verse, there has to be like a motel scene. Like they have to stay at a motel. I think a part of it is because okay, story time with me is when I started writing Fostered, which is the first book in this series that has created this whole like autistic universe for me to play with. Um I was 13 and like at the time at that fall like my family was taking a road trip out to the US for like an event or whatever. And so because everyone was younger, like we stayed over like at a hotel and like I was writing chapter 4 of Fostered. I still remember it very vividly. Sarah would probably remember this too. And I think I associate the books like with that trip because that was like the trip where like I wrote like so much of it that it was like okay, there's no going back. So every single one of the books has like a motel scene. So we're adding in the obligatory one for Reeve. And what was nice, and I didn't see coming, which I probably should have, in Mothwork, which is this literary fiction novel with many of the hopefully the 27 of you here know what that is. It's like the literary fiction canon in this series. There's a character named Jeremiah who's the narrator of Changing States. He's in, I keep talking about him because I love him very much. Well, he works at a motel in Mothwork. That's his whole thing. And while I was I just started writing. I was like, wait, I was just complaining a couple days ago, like that Reeve and Jeremiah never get to meet because they don't. Because like Harrison and Jeremiah, like Harrison is seeing Jeremiah, ends up like Harrison like ruins the whole relationship. Like they never get to meet because it just kind of ends quite abruptly. And I was, that's not fair because I think Reeve would have really liked him. So I was able to add him into the scene, which is so cool. So I wrote so much more than I thought. I wrote like 400 words, which in like 15 minutes is like on a sprint, like especially when I'm doing it like live, like that's a lot. So I'm so excited about it because like now he's I will talk about it in a second. I just want to catch up. The beep beep. Oh my gosh, 102 words. Okay, good for you. Maybe I should just keep the beep beep in like to terrify people. I'm just kidding. Okay, wrote a poem, a little bit of prose to go with it. Okay, we love poems. I am such a poem fiend. Like I love poems so much. Every single poem that I read is just beautiful. Like, um, Sarah did not write anything, just staring at the document. It's okay, Queen. Like you'll get back on it. Stein wrote 300 words. Okay, that's cool. 44 words to listen. 44 words. That's a nice, like, solid number, I think. 492, your plot outlining. Oh, cool. What's your outlining process like? I'm always so curious because I don't outline myself. T Frog wrote 131 words because I was writing down a dream I had for the first 10-ish minutes. Oh, wow. Well, the fact that you still got 131 words with like 5 minutes to go. Like that's way faster than me. Hi Pia, hello. It's such a good day to be a Nothing But Thieves fan, isn't it? I have to listen to the deluxe. I haven't listened to it yet. Audrey says my writing is on the simpler side, but my friend told me how I could sound more sophisticated, but this is my natural style and now I feel demotivated. Oh no, this is not. Oh no. And now I feel demotivated and question my writer worth. Okay, first of all, I'm going to go on a tangent that is important because I used to be like, and I still am. It's when I started to like really get with my style, like especially I'm a literary fiction writer. I really, really enjoyed a very specific voice. And this was when I was a teenager. I don't know how old this commenter is, but when I was a teenager, I like kind of viewed this quite black and white. And now that I'm older, I realize like actually this wasn't, I didn't have to view writing in this way. So I didn't think that writing was like good unless it was like in this very, very specific style. I wrote in that style. I only read in that style. I like refused to like engage with any other styles. And so even like books that were like like really excellent, I would be like, this is so bad. Because like it was not written in this like very specific style. And I was very focused on like, okay, let me sound as like cool as possible. And now actually it's not that I write differently, but I write a lot more. I don't focus so much on like making everything so fancy because I used to use a thesaurus for like every single word in a sentence at one point. Now I kind of just focus on how the words come out in my voice, and my writing can tend to be simpler. It also has like more complicated things. Like we don't have to talk about my extremely long sentences, but other than that, I focus on making the writing just simpler because that's what I like. So there's nothing wrong with that. Like everybody's writing style is different. I understand how it feels to be demotivated, but just that was one person's thoughts. And that's what I thought when I was younger too. Like, oh, it has to be like fancy. If not, it's not good writing. And now it doesn't really matter. And now I feel like I have a whole like much broader sense of like what I like to read too, because I am not just focused on one thing. I think it makes sense like when you're, maybe just starting out or just like really excited about writing or something, like to want to focus on like making it sound fancy or whatever, but it's also fine if your writing is simpler. And I would stick with your voice. I mean, I don't know if I haven't really promoted this properly. I wrote a whole thing I have a newsletter on Substack called Rachel Writes a Newsletter. I don't know how you can find it. Hopefully you could just look up Rachel Writes a Newsletter on Substack. But I just put out one on writing style. It should be in my archive. And hopefully that helps because I really talk about like writers just sticking to the voice that they have rather than trying to do something else that either somebody told them or that they saw and they feel like, oh, they have to do that. There's nothing wrong with your natural voice. Okay, sorry, that was like a whole soapbox thing. And I agree. All styles are valid. Complexity does not equal quality. Yes, I agree. And honestly, project to project things differ too. If you read my writing I think you would recognize it maybe in Sunless Ground. It looks though, if I hold it up next to Changing States, very different. So it can also differ from project to project. I am well behind on these comments. I am sorry. Well-intended advice, but every author has their own style. Yes, exactly. I agree. Celia says filling out a plot outline. I don't outline. Ooh, by hand for a novel. I am so curious. If you want to share more details while I catch up on the rest of these comments, I'd be very curious as somebody who also does an outline. Emma says my outlining process is straight up just a giant plot dump and eventually it comes together. I think that is like that is how I kind of do it. Like I don't necessarily plot. Like I did plot for like a bit of Sunless Ground, mostly just because I got the ideas, but I don't typically like go out intending to brainstorm. But when I do get the ideas, it's just a big brain dump and then I organize them. I can't stand big words in writing. It takes me out of the story. I get lost and lose interest real quick. Not everyone has to write like a college professor. Yeah, I think, who did I hear this quote from? I can't remember. It might have been in school, but they were talking about how some of the worst writers they've ever read are academics, because academics tend to like overcomplicate things. Just because it's like a part of like the style of academia. Anyways, so it doesn't mean like that you need to actually like try to sound fancy or sound smart or whatever. Because your writing is whatever your style is the best style. The newsletter is called I can talk about it more here actually. It's literally your hand is what the newsletter for style is called. And it's because I was texting my sister and we were talking about writing style, and I've always said this about drawing, like, because people like I don't know if you guys have been part of like the art community on YouTube. All the damn questions in the 2010s used to be like, how do I find my drawing style? And like my thing with drawing too is like you can't control how your hand like moves. Because I used to say this too, like to my sister, I'd be like, I just love the way you hold a pencil. And I think it's so interesting because like it's not literally I wasn't meaning like how because she holds a pencil like differently than me, but I didn't actually mean it in like physically holding a pencil. I just meant I can tell it's you who's put down the strokes on the paper because of like the way you hold a pencil. And what I meant by that is when you have me not giving like a whole lecture on style now, when you have a pencil in your hand and you're an artist and you're drawing, your muscles in your hand move in a certain way. Like I can't control the way that my drawing style looks. When I'm doing realism, sure, maybe, but like even like my realistic styles will probably look different. The approaches are going to look different than somebody else, right? But when I'm drawing in my own style, I can't control that. That's just what my hand does. And that's why I called the newsletter it's literally your hand because I was texting my sister and I had just said that in the phrase because people are so caught up in like, oh, it's my style. I want my writing style. What do I do with my writing style? When it's literally your hand. Like you can't do anything about it. And that's the best part. And I think there's like I think my friend Shaylin, actually, I just watched recently put out a video on writing style, kind of coincidentally with like alongside my little Substack essay. So if you haven't watched that, but they said in the video too, and I agree, like you're gonna learn your writing style and understand how to recognize it the longer you write in it. So okay, I keep talking. I am catching up. I'm 5 minutes behind. P is talking about NBT. I was awake at like 3 a.m. and remembered it was dropping, so I listened to it. Yay, free Daydream fodder for Keep Staring. I am so excited. Sarah like showed me like the I think it's the acoustic version, stripped back version of Tomorrow's Clothes. I'm so excited. Like Lonan is about to have a resurgence of his personality. Like I am so excited. I can't wait to see them again live, but they need to do you right, Pia. I will film for you. Don't worry. T Frog says, I love simple writing. It can be really fun. Sometimes every author has their own style and whatever works for you is good. Exactly. That's true, especially the romance and romantasy genre, which is, I think, referring to the big words. Yeah, I think depending on genre, it can be like sometimes, like in Seventh Virtue, because I wasn't writing literary fiction concurrently when I was writing Seventh Virtue, not for like most of Seventh Virtue. I would get very literary. It'd be like, nobody would want to read this in the target audience because this is not the writing that you're looking for in the target audience. So, I mean, whatever way you write and like whatever way your writing appears in the genre is like the way it kind of should be. I know that sounds like kind of like blah, like you say like of course you would say that, but that's genuinely how I feel. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear this, Kermit. My condolences. I'm very sorry to hear that. Okay, we have a little bit of like a expansion. I love romance and can't stand when they use posh language. It takes me out of the story. Yeah, I think it depends too on what kind of readers are looking for. Let's see. Celia says, "Oh, okay. I think this was the handwriting outlining thing I was interested in. Worksheet breaking down the character's journey through like 40 listed beats, and I can just use process of elimination, filling out the ones I know for sure, and then the others start to fall into place." Interesting. That's kind of what I did for Seventh Virtue. I was doing it with Save the Cat, and I filled in the beats that I already had, and then that's true. I just kind of filled in the other ones, and I didn't like my book doesn't really fit Save the Cat, but it helped with brainstorming. You can't go to concerts. This is how I felt when I lived in Victoria. Okay, like nobody goes there for concerts, and I had missed a lot of like my favorite artists. Like in 2019 in my first year because and that was like that was in Victoria where like I could have like ferried over to Vancouver. So I can imagine. I love MBT. I just got tickets to see them in October. Yay! Yeah, me too. I got tickets too. I'm just going by myself. It'll be fun. Yeah, that Shaylin. They just made that cool video on their channel about style. Anime fan says when you're taught though to adapt the style of the greats in school, it kind of feels like you lose your own voice in writing. Do people teach that? I hope not. Do people actually teach that? Like to like try to become the voices of like people who died? Like is that what interesting. I don't know. I wasn't ever taught that, but I can imagine, yeah, that it would be hard and you would lose your own voice too. I think practice can help with that because I know when I read something that I really like, I can tend to sort of adopt that voice. I talked about that in the style essay, But I'm sure if you were taught that from a young age, it could really kind of interfere. Hmm. Anyway, that didn't happen to me. That's so interesting. Huh. My writing would look very different, I think. Um, what do you guys feel like about your writing styles? Like, you like your writing style? Do you want to change your writing style? Um, like, do you feel like you have a writing style? Pia says, I don't really outline, but I do try to order events on the 3-act structure just to have a sequence of events. Yeah, and then fuck it, we ball. Yeah, I think that's great. I mean, I'm only seeing like so much like conversation about like story structure, and it kind of is driving me nuts. I've been ranting about this on my side blog. Sorry if you follow me on there, and you keep seeing those posts, but I'm tired of like this sort of like rhetoric that's very popular, not just on like AuthorTube, but like you'll see it on Instagram. And I don't use like TikTok really ever often, but like if I do, I'll see it on TikTok too, where it's just like, oh, you have to like structure in a certain way, doing a certain thing with a certain technique. It's usually Save the Cat, because Save the Cat like took over everybody's lives in 2018, I think, when the book version of it came out for the novels. And it kind of drives me nuts because like story structure can look very different for different things, and like it can also serve a writer differently for different stories, and like you can overcomplicate it in things like Save the Cat, which I do like. I actually do like Save the Cat, and it's not that I think Save the Cat at its core is overcomplicated, because it's not. It's actually quite simple. I think I like it. But it can also just be very simple, like the 3-act structure. Literally, you can just have a beginning, middle, and end, like, and it doesn't need to be that overcomplicated. But now there's like this whole, I don't know, there's this trend that I've noticed the last 2 years in writing spaces. It's getting kind of annoying, I think. Um, do you think Duotrope is good submitting tool for looking for the journals, publishers? One of my novels got rejected by an agent saying that it didn't fit their list. I get them a lot. Okay, so if you're getting feedback from like industry professionals that it's not fitting their list, you need to like just double check. Like they have manuscript wish list is one for agents particularly, but just double check, because on their websites, like for agencies, like if you go to the about page, typically they'll have like, oh, so and so is looking for XYZ and is not looking for whatever. So if you're getting something that doesn't, like if you're getting that feedback quite a bit, it could be that you haven't like checked out like the particular like submission guidelines, for example. Check that for like every single person. I know it can be like a lot of work, but just double check it, because it could also save you time from emailing somebody and then save them time. But Duotrip is a good tool. I don't use it to find things. I've never used it for that. I usually find like I use it to like check if a venue pays, like how kind of long they take to get back to people. I've never used it as a submitting tool, but yeah, if that's the feedback you're getting, it could be that you need to double check. Maybe like make a table too. Rylan says, my writing style for long stuff is very simple, and I'm trying to make it a little more visceral, like my short fiction. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. I think, yeah, it's so interesting that you make a distinction between like the different like lengths of stories too, because that happens to me. Like my short story writing style is also a bit different. It's a little snappier, I think. Hello, hi Aaliyah. Thanks for coming. I'm just catching up on comments because I'm behind. Gracie says, I outline to help my brain be organized. If I don't outline, I feel like the story's out of order in a way of my writing, especially since I'm writing a 4-book series. Yeah, I think whatever tool works best for you. Outlining might help be organized, especially for like when I was writing Sunless Ground. It's a much bigger story. Book's probably going to be like 200,000 words. I needed to kind of order things just so that I didn't get overwhelmed, because I already had the ideas. Now I don't go out of my way to outline if I don't have to, but if I have the ideas and I want to put them in order, then that's fine too. Zavico, I don't know if I'm saying your name right. Please correct me. I don't know. My style depends on my mood and the genre. When I wrote a vampire fan fiction, it has to be posh, but what I'm writing these days feels like how I write assignments. Person turquoise writing headphones. Yeah, I think writing changing depending on the voice too is an aspect of style we don't talk about as much. We always talk about writing style, but then you don't talk about like voice and like the intersections of style so much. But I think they're very related. T-Frog says, I don't know if I have a set writing style right now. I just kind of write in my character's voice because I'm a first-person POV writer, but I think there's some things that I do all the time that makes it mine. Oh, that's nice. That's great. I love when you can like recognize parts of you sort of in the writing. I have no idea what my writing style is. It's annoying because it feels like I'm just copying other writers. I mentioned this in the essay, but like that is a really big part, I think, of finding a writing style is like looking and studying and admiring like the work of writers you really like. So if people have not read that, I don't know if I can just like send a link instead of like being like, you should read it. Let me see if I can find it on Substack. But um this is probably the only time I'll ever talk about writing style, like ever, because writing style and characterization are two things I don't talk about very much because I just don't. I don't know. I don't have any thoughts on them. This is the that because so if you're wondering what my thoughts are, what I'm saying is it's there. It's in that essay. Um Anime fan says, I'm not the biggest fan of my writing style right now. There's just something missing. I have a natural gut for being able to know what to cut and keep. Maybe I just want to sound more poetic. I think if you like desire to sound differently and you want to try new things, that's fine too. I think I mentioned in the essay that like a lot of writers' instinct is like to stop writing the way that they kind of naturally write in order to like sound like somebody else, which can be helpful for learning. But I also think there's something nice in like your own voice too. But that doesn't mean you can't incorporate new things into your voice because yeah, styles are like kind of ever evolving. Ooh, taking the stream on a walk because I haven't left my house today. Okay, hello. I'm happy that I'm on a walk. That's so cool. Um, Again, coming in and out though, I wanted to share that I finished my rough draft, one of my works in progress. Yay! Okay, that's awesome. Congrats. Everybody's like I said earlier, hitting like milestones in the stream because I hit 100K today. You finished a work in progress. That's awesome. T Frog says, I think my short story writing is a lot stronger. That's so interesting. Yeah, I think it depends on medium too. That's why I'm very like intimidated by the ideas of writing novels, like outside of the novels that I currently write. Um, I don't know, writing something that long feels very intimidating to me. My writing style is just a physical adaptation of my inner monologue. Well, that's cool. I don't really have an inner monologue, so I don't. That's not how I found my style. But I think that's a really cool way to find your style. Everybody has a different way to find styles. Pia says, I love my writing style. Okay, I love your writing style too. I like to describe it as conversational because usually I let the mannerisms of speech blend into the prose like pauses, but a bit more aesthetic than actual dialogue. I think that's beautiful. And yeah, totally, actually, exactly how I see it written. That's so cool. Um, oh, that's awesome. I love hearing about other people's writing styles. It's cool. My name vexes everyone, Rachel. Okay, try saying Jiko. Am I saying it right? I totally butchered it. I feel very bad. The reason why I'm so passionate about this is because like my last name people have refused to pronounce like my whole life. And it's very easy to pronounce once like you say it once. So I am very passionate about not saying people's names wrong. So if I'm saying your name wrong, please correct me if you would like to. I hope I'm saying it right now though. I'm perfect. Okay. um my last name is pronounced Latchman Singh. If you don't know how to pronounce it, and you're like, I don't know how to say it, and I feel bad if I say it wrong. People say it like Lackman Singh, which is fine too. I've heard that my whole life, but it's Latchman Singh. If you're wondering, um, just because I don't like when people are like, oh, I'm not even gonna read your last name. I'm like, that's mean. Like I can just explain it to you. Anyways, oh, poetic. Okay, well, aesthetic too, Pia. I think your writing is both. I was like, actually, when you said aesthetic, I was like, that is so true though. Like I feel that way about Pia's writing. Um, but yes, poetic as well. I see that too. How do you write short stories? They always turn into full length novels for me. Well, this is a good question because I kind of like coined this like strategy for writing short stories. If you haven't watched the video on my channel, it's how to write a short story in 4 simple steps or something like that. It's like for some reason it's very popular now. I feel like a high school teacher or something like shared it and like now it's like in the algorithm. I'm not complaining. I'm very happy to help people. So if you're wondering how like I go about structuring that kind of short story, that will really tell you like how I see a short story, how you can break down a short story. It's my own writing theory. Um but at this point, like now that I've written a lot of novellas, like all of my short stories are like I feel like gonna turn very long. So um just catching up. I am so behind. Let me scroll. Then it like scrolled all the way up and now I'm lost. um okay. Mm, I used to write short stories, but since novels take up most of my time, I find it hard to make time for it. Yeah, I feel that same way. I don't write short stories as often anymore because yeah, novels are a lot of work. I miss short stories though. I wrote two recently. But now I don't think I'm drafting anymore. So um Eric says my style is low key just purple prose and I'm working to improve it. That's so interesting. What do you think is like purple prose? Because purple prose is such like a it's such like a divisive term because it's so subjective. I'm sure people reading my writing can definitely be purple at times. There's parts where I can point it out to you where I think it's purple. Some people might not think it's purple. Um, but I think it's interesting. Purple prose is like an idea. Um, Jiko, I hope I'm saying that right now. It says, gonna watch it because I watched many YouTube videos and I didn't get it. Yeah, I will find it. Let me find it for you. For some reason, like I said, the algorithm is rewarding me with that video, which is nice because it was so hard to like make. It was like quite rigorous because of like how I edited it and everything. Um, anyways, so I'm happy that it didn't do well originally. So I'm actually kind of relieved that people have found it. Not because like, I want it to be popular. But because I think there's kind of some interesting stuff in there. Here it is. Yay. Okay. There we go. That's it's 4 steps. That's just what I've come up with. Somebody on that video was like, "You stole these steps from some writer." And I was like, "Bold of you to assume that I did." I did not. I wrote the 4 steps when I was in a class. Wow, I was not paying attention. Oops. Anyways, so yeah, those are just kind of how I view short stories. It's a specific type of short story, especially shorter short stories that like are published in lit mags. You'll probably see following that structure. Um, Rylan says, I got to get back into writing short fiction after I finish drafting this book because I'm applying for an MFA. Okay, well, congrats on applying for an MFA. That's so cool. And I feel you. That was all I was writing in university, or at least, all I was submitting because I didn't write a lot of it while I was in school. Do I know the author Maza Mengiste? I hope I'm saying that right. I don't. Do they write cool things? I'm always down for recommendations. There was this cool. There's this bit about what I was writing. I haven't read anything on the stream in a while, like after a sprint. I don't know if I want to read it. I'm looking at it right now and I'm like, I won't read it, but like I might post it later on Tumblr. But it's basically talking about friendship, which is why I wanted to talk about it because I love my friend books. Okay. Like I love when the whole thing revolves around friends. The Shadow King is her novel. She's Ethiopian. Let me see. Oh, I don't recognize the cover. Cool. I will check this one out. Is it like fantasy? I'm always looking for genre recs. Today I was at the doctor and I imagined a vampire called Malachi while writing a baddie. I got over 2,000 words on top what I hand wrote yesterday. Wow, that's awesome. Okay, good for you. And also, I love when you like do the handwriting, then like typing combo, and then it's just like, wow, it was like a whole palooza of writing today. Yeah, I said this mostly like for you here. Because like the friendship narratives go so strong and like I love writing like characters who are like platonically in love. And I think something that I've been enjoying too is writing like characters who have like romantic love relationships, but then also like are in love with their friends too. Like, cause like can we not have both? Like Anyways, so it's a line that Reeve is talking about Harrison, but I haven't really made it sound. I know this is going to be going against everything that I talked about how it sound, but I haven't made it sound like as impressive as I wanted to. Mostly because I was writing it quite quickly, and I know there's something like I can feel that there's something under the surface. I just need to kind of tweak in the phrasing for it to sound a little more like me and a little less generic. Not that generic is bad. It's just like for this moment, I want it to be kind of fancy because like friendship. Oh, it's more literary. Oh, okay. I will have to check it out. Thank you for recommending. And platonic soulmates. Yes, platonic soulmates are so important to me. And I like it because like Harrison obviously has like romantic relationships, but like the love that matters like above all. Forsake Lonan's ass. Honestly, the one that loves like matters most to him is like his friendship with Reeve, and then like vice versa. Because like they would do anything for each other, and I think that's nice. That's the focus. It's always been about them. It's never about the other people. I like focusing on like even in like the romantic relationships, like when I was writing Changing States and Body Back, like with Jeremiah and Harrison, it was about like romance, sure, but I never felt it was about their romance. It was about their friendship, and I think that's why it hurts so much in Changing States because like most of the things that Jeremiah is talking about, it's like you can tell that he doesn't like he does miss Harrison like in terms of like, you know, the romantic context, but also like in terms of just like they were like best friends. So I think it's sad. Let's stop talking about Jeremiah. Now I'm getting upset. Question from Aaliyah. Does anyone have any way to generate ideas from thin air? Because I no longer know who creativity is. I have no like help on this because I said earlier in the stream, I'm very bad at like brainstorming. I don't get ideas that often. Usually I just hope that like lightning strikes me. Oh, hello, thanks for coming. Thanks for coming. It's nice to see you. Anyway, let's I'm thinking of maybe we can do another sprint. Where did my timer go? I'm gonna set it up and like let's sprint in like maybe 2 minutes if you want to get ready as a reminder. And I need to heat up my tea because it's cold. But we're about to get to like some actiony like moments in the book, which is fun because like Sunlit's Ground, like a lot has happened, but also very little has happened. It's 100,000 words of like I don't want to say setup because like that makes it sound like it's boring, but it's not. It's like very fun setup. I think we got to the point where the really the most plotty thing that's happened so far is like Darren, who went missing, is like back. He's back now. Reeve got engaged, which is fun. Good for her. Happy for her. Anyways, and now she's like trying to go get her best friend back. Like, so it's gonna be some actiony moments. I think it's gonna be fun to write because I have like a very specific scene in mind, and I think I'm gonna be able to get to it in this next sprint. So, Rylan says ideas infect my brain like a virus. I don't do it intentionally. Yeah, see, like that's so interesting how like writers have different processes because I don't get ideas that much. The last time I got a novel idea, I mean, the new kind of Mothwork rewrite is probably the first time in like maybe 7 years. I don't really get novel ideas. Like I don't get them. What happens is I'll just write them. And typically that's kind of like all interlinked in the fostered verse. Pia says, I've been in a slump for months, so sadly creativity and I are currently estranged too. Yeah, I think sometimes it takes a vacation. And that's fine, I think. Sometimes you need a break. Scholarly Coffee, oh hello, says, I haven't been able to write much recently because of my chronic illness, but it's really hard as an autistic person since one of my special interests is writing. This stream is helping me a bit. Okay, I feel you because one of my special interests is writing too. And I talked about this like loosely in June when I was like really struggling with writing, but it really like impacted my mental health. It's always like before I even was like diagnosed autistic in 2021, when I couldn't write, it would really, really severely impact my mental health. So I don't think that it's like wrong to like, you know, point out like sort of like how serious that can be, especially when writing is a special interest, because it's not just like, it's not just writing. To me, writing is like the life that I kind of live. Like that's everything revolves around writing for me. So And not like just writing everything, but writing specific characters. It's yeah, so I get that. And I'm happy the stream is helping. I want to one day like see if I can make like more content specifically tailored for like neurodivergent writers and kind of see, but I have to think about that too. But hopefully, yeah, even just the streams help. T Frog says I use music, Pinterest, and sometimes a plot generator for ideas. I don't know if these will work for you, but they could be helpful. Oh yeah, music, Pinterest. Yeah, I love Pinterest. I talk about this every single time on my streams. Like the Pinterest algorithm just is sad. Like it upsets me now. Like I don't know if it's just me, but like I don't get the same because I used to use Pinterest all the time. And it used to be so inspirational. I'd get tons of scene ideas through it. But now it just kind of like shows me the same thing. And it's like, what happened? But when it does work, it works. So what I kind of do now is I just scroll through my board because my fostered board has like over 8,000 pins on it. So there's a lot to look at. Hi, Agnes. Thanks for coming. Creativity went out to buy milk and cigarettes and hasn't returned. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I feel that. I think when did that happen to me? That was recently, a couple months ago. And I think what helped was doing more writing by hand. And then also writing like just writing Lost Gods like very disorganized, so I could kind of just follow my impulses, but like on like a 200 word scale rather than like on a 2,000 word scale. Oh, so interesting. You always get ideas and your special interest is also writing. That's so cool. Science says I'm autistic too, and it's honestly awful when all I want to do is write, but I get so easily overwhelmed. Yeah, I think what happens to me too is like even when I write a lot, like in the last couple of days I've written, I mean, for all intents and purposes, like quite a bit. Like it's been nice, like the last couple of days. But I still feel like unsatisfied. Like I think something kind of special interesting needs to happen with the writing too for me to feel like kind of like, oh, nice, comfortable. Not that like, and so that can kind of like lead to like issues with like productivity because it's not about productivity, it's about like the feeling. Anyways, that's kind of like my experience on my end. I'm just gonna read the rest of these comments and then I will share my screen and we can write. I might write for a little longer. I have it set for 15. I'm gonna do 20. My story idea usually starts from a chapter or relationship dynamic, if that helps. Oh, that's so cool. I like that. Pinterest algorithm is so awful. I have to spend hours on there sometimes to get an idea, but it works. Yeah, it used to be so good. It used to be the best. I'm sad. Anyways, I don't know what they did. Like a lot of algorithms are like this now, where they will like just show you the same content, and it's like, well, that's not what I was looking for. And there are many ads. There are so many ads. Like I'll click on something and I think it's something and it's not. It's just an ad and it takes me on a link and it's very annoying. And Shannon says, I also get way too many ideas. I can introduce a character without seeing a whole other story potential. Oh, cool. That is so cool. Yeah, I've never been like a huge idea person, like an idea bank person. I wish I had one though. I think my brain, like the way I process stories, because I think writing is a lot about processing for me too. And that's helped me a lot. Like when I process things, I need to like see it happening in order to process it well. Oh, okay. Pia has Haze Dogs open because I started listening to the playlist again, and I'm convinced I can fix her. Okay, I hope you can too. Okay, I'm gonna share my screen in a second. After I read this last comment, Jonathan says, I'm trying to pursue my MFA in creative writing, but can't because I have to get my English. Something about credits, which will take some time. Although I'm doing school. Okay, I am in school doing continuing studies. Oh, cool. Well, MFAs are cool. I mean, I know quite a few people who went on to do their MFAs. That's one way to spend a lot of time on writing, definitely. Agnes says, for me, I've done role play for around a decade. It's those story ideas I can't follow, ping around until I get them down. Interesting. And then Pia says, I'm all on imagery and I force a story around it because I'm too visual a writer. Yeah, that's cool. I love images too. I think I've just been going with like vibes. And that's pretty much it, I think. Okay, I'm gonna share my screen because I need to heat up my tea. Okay. And we can write for like 20 minutes. I'm gonna have to zoom in on this. Okay, I'll see you after 20 minutes. And I'm gonna try my best to meet you before the beep beep beep, but I'm not making promises. Yay! Okay, that was the end of that sprint. I'm gonna finish my sentence. There we go. I'm kind of into this. This is a scene I already had like planned. Basically, I've had it like written out for a while. So it's not like this is like any kind of like new content, but I've been looking forward to it. So this is quite fun to kind of like flesh out the notes. I don't know how much I wrote. Let me see. I don't even know where I left off. Yikes, I just saw like a yikesy kind of dialogue. Let's see. No, this can't be right. 800 words? For who? Like, I didn't even start writing till like 15 minutes in because I went to go heat up my tea. No way. Today is just a day. Listen, I take advantage because I don't write like this every single day. Like I said, there's like a series of like 3 days at a time where like the writing will really like kind of like pop off, I think. Wow. So that's like how many words for the day? I will catch up with you guys. I see there are people, but I was shocked because I checked like the word count for the chapter and I was like, well, it can't be that much. It was 4,000 words. So now it's like 5,000 words. What do you mean? Let's see how much I wrote for today. I mean, technically, I didn't write this. I wrote this yesterday. So well, that was like this morning. Okay, I'm not gonna do that. 12:30 in the morning. Where did I leave off? I was like flashback. I wrote in my notes app here. So like on my computer today, I've written 3,200 words plus the other bit that I wrote last night that I formatted in my document. This is just interesting to me. 4,800. What? Oh my god. I don't know what to say. That's a lot of words. I gotta catch up with you guys. Shannon watched a couple YouTube videos. That is so valid. Honestly, I haven't been watching YouTube. Like maybe like my brain has unfortunately been like it's been really like accustomed to like short form content. I don't use TikTok. Like watch like TikToks like 3 weeks late on Instagram Reels. So I'm trying to like cut out the short form content. So I feel like it would be better to watch like a couple YouTube videos than like a bajillion like short form videos. No beeping this time. I tried so hard. Okay, listen, it was like 30 seconds to go, and I was like in the middle of it, and I was like, no, I have to do my duty. Hello, hi Kennedy. We were just talking about this video. I just watched your short story and 4 steps video that you mentioned earlier in the stream. It helped me honestly. Yeah, okay. I'm so happy that it helped you. That's a great thing to do during the stream. Thank you for watching. That's like a certain theory that I've been thinking about for a while. So I didn't want to gatekeep it because writing short stories is so confusing. Even I watched that video when I'm confused. Stein wrote 495 words. Yay, that's awesome. T Frog wrote 232. Emma wrote 741. Agnes edited the first pass of 3 chapters from the work called The Cost of Obedience. I finished yesterday. Okay, well, congrats on finishing it yesterday. And then that's also awesome, getting a pass of editing done. First draft, Pia says, first draft of one of my books is an ongoing current role play with one of my partners. I think that is so cool. I love how collaborative you are with your writing process. I don't like actually write with like my sister, for example. We did like a little bit for Of the Red Earth, which was like many of you probably would have no idea what I'm talking about, but that was like a rewrite of like the actual dystopian series. And then she ended up kind of like taking it and kind of running with it. And it's really cool. It's a really, really awesome rewrite. So that was like when we were actually like writing sentence to sentence. But I think my writing process is surprisingly a little more collaborative than I think. Why is my like I'm like losing the will to speak. But it's quite more collaborative because like we'll just talk about everything. Like we go on walks and talk about from the beginning of time, like ideas, what we're planning on doing. So I think the collaboration, I'm quite lucky to have somebody who likes to collaborate with me too. You can't watch short form content. It overwhelms me. Yeah, I really want to stop watching. Okay, maybe I shouldn't say I don't watch a lot because my Instagram time is like 2 hours on average a day. It's crazy. And it's really just like reels. I can get like I never understood what people meant by doom scrolling. And then I was like, oh, um, it kind of dawned on me. I was like, oh, that makes a lot more sense now. I totally understand what that is. So the last 2 days I've been like forcing myself to get off my phone. So that's been nice. My screen time went from like 11 hours the day before, which is like unusual for me. I actually don't know why it was that high. I might have been listening to something on my phone. From 11 hours to like 3 yesterday total, which 3 hours? Oh, that's great. Like that's fantastic for me. I could take that. Especially because like I do things like kind of like work or volunteer things on my phone too. I'm like, okay, 3 hours, great. Um, Here, our replies are chapter length 1 to 4K words, depending on how insane we feel. It's basically a draft. That is so cool. That is amazing. I think the idea of role playing is so cool. I mean, I have so much content and I do have a writing buddy. So maybe I should try it one day. Hi, Charlotte, who's off work now. Dusted off a lesbian lit fic novel last night. I'm so excited to be back with these characters. Yay! That's so cool. I think I saw you post about that. I think. That's so cool. I hope it's going well because that sounds just like something I would read. Collaborative writing is the air I breathe. Yeah, I think especially like North American, like kind of like rhetoric around writing is like it's so like you suffer and you're alone and you have no help and like the right way to write a novel is if you like questioned your existence a million times when writing, you're doing it right, which is so stupid. So I just think it's nice to hear different approaches. Rylan, I stay away from short form content like the plague because my OCD brain would not be able to handle it. Yeah, I never like because I have like TikTok came out I think when I was in my last year of high school and I never got it. I only have it to post. I don't like TikTok. Like I don't find like just I only have it to post whenever I like every couple of months I'm like on my TikTok shit. But I only make content. I don't actually find it fun to scroll through TikTok. I don't know why because like the content at least that I get on my like for you is like it's just like dumb. Like not in a bad way because that's like the kind of content I make, but it's not something that I would want to watch. Um but yeah, my Instagram algorithm is dangerous. Do you guys how do you find word count in Google Docs? I can't find it. I think it's under tools. I think. I don't use Google Docs, but I think. Um Agnes, I undownloaded everything but Discord and have short form content blocked on my computer. How did you block the short form content? That would be great. The only short like because YouTube Shorts I remember when it came out, and then like Instagram Reels I remember when it came out. Um, Instagram Reels I think is more dangerous because I actually didn't use Instagram for like 2 years straight, 2 3 years. But now I've like kind of gotten into like posting on my Instagram stories, and I get kind of like chaotic over there. And so like I don't want to delete the app because I like the stories. I just wish I could hide the stupid Reels tab. Which I get good content. Like the only thing I would recommend on TikTok if you like TikTok. The only other thing I use TikTok for is if I like want to like look up bookbinding things. There are so many great bookbinders on TikTok that it's just not the same on YouTube. So just saying, they have great like bookbinding tutorials and stuff. Anyways, Agnes says my responses with my roleplay partner are 700 to 1K each. I love it so much. Oh, that's so cool. I love hearing how people write together. I think community is so fun when it comes to writing. I'd love to find someone to do collaborative writing with. It sounds like so much fun. Yeah, I'm lucky that like I have my sister and like I was born with her. To kind of collab with. We always are going on walks, like, and she's like helps me so much with all my plot because like I said, I'm very bad at plot. So she'll be like, "Why don't you just do this?" And I'm like, "Oh, that was so obvious," but like my my brain doesn't make connections. So I typically have to talk about it. Oh, and we're getting keyboard shortcuts. Love of my life. I love keyboard shortcuts. They're my favorite thing ever. So thank you. Even though I don't use Google Docs, that's good to know. I use TikTok to get book suggestions that I never read. Oh, interesting. I don't know if I'm on Book Talk that much besides like for research. YouTube shorts are like drugs. Anyone know a way to disable them from showing up on our homepage? I know. You know what? Like I just try to like ignore the YouTube shorts. I used to be really on my YouTube short shit like last year or whatever, and now I don't really use that as much. I find that I get different things on Instagram versus on YouTube. I find it easier to click away on shorts than on reels. Anyway, it's a short form content is just it's a lot. Okay, think we can undo some things because it's relatively new in terms of like how popular it's become. 803 words today. Yay, that's awesome. Congrats. 803 words, that's a lot. Collaborative writing buddies. Yes, I feel that. Agnes says I have a Chrome extension. Oh, I need to use Chrome. You know, I use Microsoft Edge because like I was like really autistic about Internet Explorer, and then Internet Explorer like died, and then they were like, here, have Microsoft Edge. So like I've just been using Edge, and also Edge has like the I don't know if does Chrome have like accessibility features? I'm using Chrome right now, like to stream. I do all my YouTube stuff on Chrome. So like my YouTube account is logged in on here. I use StreamYard on here, but I don't typically use it for anything else. Like I don't search in Chrome because like I'm not sure if it has the same accessibility features. I really like the accessibility features on Edge, like with the read aloud, and they have their natural sounding voices on Edge. So that's why I don't really use Chrome. But one thing I like about Chrome is I think they have really great extensions too. That's so cool. In my YouTube options, I have no watch history, so I don't get shorts or YouTube recs anymore. Huh, that is so smart to kind of like just nip it in the bud. That is so cool. My advice to find a writing buddy is join the same roleplay as them and let it snowball from there. Yeah, that is so cool. I should try these things. I haven't tried that. That's one thing I haven't tried. Do I go to writer conferences? No, but I have participated in a couple, and I'm participating in another. Typically online. I don't typically go to writer conferences myself, though I can. I just haven't. Me and my dark mode Chrome extension are soulmates. This is one thing about me too, is like I can't get on board with dark mode. I think because like I'm very rigid when it comes to change. Like even though dark mode it probably would be easier on my eyes, like I can't change it. The only time I used dark mode was when I changed Word, like basically to dark mode, just because I needed to save my computer battery. I was on a road trip. And then I ended up realizing like that was the perfect way to write in Lonen's point of view, like dark mode. And I was like, why didn't I figure this out like 15,000 words ago? That was the only time I used dark mode. Pia deleted TikTok a year and a half ago. I don't look at YouTube Shorts or Instagram Reels unless my partner sends them to me. It made my mental health. I can't see your emoji. Unfortunately, I'm sad. But yeah, I'm trying to wean myself off of Reels is really the problem. I don't even know when I go on. I was like, what do you mean I spend 2 hours a day on Instagram? I'm like, what? Anyways, so trying not to use that so much. Firefox has great ad blocking. Yeah, I think I have Firefox too. I might. My dad really likes Firefox. Edge is probably like the worst one out of all of them, but I just like the accessibility features. Keep thinking about deleting TikTok, but it's such a good app to promote writing on. Is it? Like, how does Writer Talk work on there? Because I post like cringe things on TikTok. But I don't actually share my writing on TikTok. That could be interesting. I'd love to know more about that. Use dark mode on everything except Google Docs. Yeah, for some reason I can't do dark mode. I don't know. Not even on my phone. And my sister's like, why is it so bright? You take the good app thing back. Okay, that's fair. It's easy, but it's not good. The trends are not very good at explaining what the book's about, and that's infuriating. Interesting. Yeah, it's really changed marketing and publishing too. I wonder if it'll last, like sort of like TikTok marketing, or if it's kind of like a fad and it'll kind of eventually kind of go away. Because I don't know if people are so interested in like books being described the same way over and over again. Yeah, kind of interesting to think about. I want to do another sprint because I am really eager to continue writing. I'm gonna do 20 more minutes. I know we're like going back to back on these sprints. I just want to write. Hopefully this makes up for all my talking. I'm going to hit present. I'm so like, this is the one thing in TVs that I'm so bad at technologically. Everything else, excellent. Here we go. I'll see you in 20 minutes while we continue to think about TikTok and Instagram Reels and Shorts. Okay, bye. Okay, hello. Um, that went really good. Ready's just okay. Like it's happening today. Let me check. What did I write? Let's see. I mean, this is all like I kind of feel like I know how outliners feel. 'Cause when I have scenes pre-planned, I'm like, I'm getting through this so fast. So that's nice. Because this is basically all written. I just had to fill in like a little bit of the prose. Where did I start writing? I don't know. I think here. No, that can't be right because that's like 1,400 words. I have no idea. I wrote quite a bit. I don't know. That's nice. I just basically just fleshing out a scene like skeleton is what I call them. Usually when I get ideas. This is actually funnily how I started writing in third person present tense is every single idea I've gotten since I started like using my notes app to like document ideas. I've written in third person present tense. So that's how I kind of got comfortable with the point of view. It was just kind of like my instinct rather than writing them in like first person, for example. Even if the books were written in first person, I'd write them in third person present tense. Anyway, so I have like little scenes usually when I like get ideas, like I'll write whatever I see and then I can kind of expand those. And usually like I don't love them like in like a literary context. I think it's harder for me to I don't know, to see the scene for the first time, make it vivid if I've already seen it. However, for like action scenes, like this is going by like so nice. So that's quite nice. Um, Shannon reviewed chapters to send to my critique partner. Oh, awesome! That's fun. Um, Charlotte wrote 265 words, but I'm basically just re-outlining the mess I made in April for Camp NATO. Okay, that's fair. Re-outlining the mess is very fun. Scholarly Coffee says, I don't know exactly since I was writing by hand, but I wrote a whole notebook page, which is the most I've written in a while. Oh, yay, congrats. Also, thank you, Neil Gaiman, for the pen rec. What kind of pen is this? I'm going to look it up. Oh, they look quite nice. Ooh, that looks fancy. I have to check them out. Now that I'm like kind of like a handwriting girly, like I I've got it into pens now. Which is good because like as a writer you get gifted pens a lot. So like I have a lot of pens, which is good. T Frog spent most of the time rereading what I've written to see if any of it is good. There's some really cool parts. I'm so proud of myself. Okay, I'm so proud of you too. Yay! And I'm happy that you're able to find things that you really liked. Stein wrote 320 words this time in total. Got wow, over 1,000 during the stream. I'm so proud of myself. Well, I'm proud of you too. That's awesome. That's great. I think writing has been going very nicely. And I couldn't say the same thing. Gosh, I think 2 days ago. 2 days ago is when kind of this like vibe started happening. Rest of March has been like really slow. I haven't really been focusing that much on writing. Mateo wrote 713. Emma wrote 434. Yeah, I don't know how much I wrote. I didn't mark down where I last was. I was doing research on a character in my story who sabotages her son's engagement and sets him up with a woman she approves of. Weren't we talking about the story in a previous stream? I think we were. Maybe I'm wrong. Unplaiting my hair and simultaneously handwriting on sticky notes. Okay, that's iconic. Okay. About Malachi and his passive aggressive future wife. Okay, well that's fun. I love that you're able to do two things at once. Is there anybody else who can like multitask in interesting ways? I'm not sure if it's like just like neurodivergent brain talking, but like I can literally be listening to music, like singing the song and writing at the same time. It kind of depends. If anyone has any tips on how to write a sabotage engagement, would be greatly appreciated. You know what you need to go on? Like you need to go on like on Reddit, like on Am I the Asshole? Like they have crazy like stories about like ruined engagement parties and stuff like that. Lots of inspo on Reddit. Yeah, it's the same story. Yeah, I remember because I love like wedding drama. I love wedding drama stories. They're so fun. They're pretty. Unfortunately, I'm such a creature of habit and write with the cheapest hotel room looking pens just because it's what I'm used to. Yeah, I just write with whatever I have. Like I was talking about in like previous streams, like my brother bought me like some really nice like Muji pens for Christmas, which was perfect because I was writing by hand. I was like, thank you. You literally got me exactly what I needed. So I've been using the Bougie Muji pens, but typically I just write like with whatever has ink. Doesn't really, especially because my handwriting's not very nice. Like I don't care. Like as long as it writes fast, that's fine. It's kind of why I like ballpoint pens or like kind of like the smooth ink pens. I have a fountain pen. It doesn't write as fast because it's like more scratchy, which is fun, but still. Wrote 360 words. Kennedy says just started a new short story. Oh, cool. We were just talking about short stories. That's awesome. I love short stories. I've been really meaning to read a couple collections. Like I had a couple collections that I keep borrowing and then like I never read them and I feel bad. There's one called Chrysalis by Anuja Varghese, um, who was an editor at the Ex-Puritan. And then there's one called Kink, which is co-edited by, is it R.O. Kwan and then Garth Greenwell, who wrote Cleanness, and I talk about cleanness in every single stream. I feel like it's only fair to mention it in this stream. And I've been meaning to read both of them. I haven't, especially Kink, because that one's so popular at my library. Like I can't like ever get my hold on it. It takes like months and months and months. Maybe I need to buy it. Because I think Roxane Gay might have a story in that collection. Anyway, I'm really interested to read it because I really like Garth Greenwell's work, so I'm interested to see kind of like the ones that he and R.O. Kwan curated. Yeah, the Muji pens are nice. I think they're quite expensive. Like I think the cheaper of the two that he got is still expensive. Like in my eyes, like still really expensive. Usually I just buy like a big bag of like a whole bunch of like random pens. Like if I need to buy pens. I haven't bought pens in so long. Because I have so many pens. Like I said, when you're a writer, you just get gifted pens. So I don't think I'm ever gonna run out of pens ever. So Kennedy, I have a 30K novel draft that I'm procrastinating writing now. So I started this one. Yeah, that's fair. I love procrastinating writing by doing other writing. That's what I've been doing for like the last year. So telekinetic guy says I cannot draft with a pen because the permanence scares me, though I barely erase with pencil anyway. I deeply respect people who regularly write with pen. We're the same, friend. I used to always write with pencil, and the only reason I switched to pen is because I realized that pen, like I could write faster with a pen. And so I had this thing, like when I was younger, I never used to care about mess or like perfection, and I would just like cross things out and like I didn't care. And then when I got to my teens, like I started to get quite nervous and like anxious about crossing things out. And now I don't care anymore about crossing things out. And actually, the way I like to think about it, about making mistakes, it's like, oh, me in the future is gonna find it so cool to like find like, oh, that I scratched out this word or something, or like, you know, if they ever find my writing journal, which by the way, like you don't ever want to read anything in here. Whenever they find it, me posts what's in here on the internet. But whenever they find it, they'll be able to see like, oh, they like, as if anyone's gonna care. Maybe, but anyways, if somebody does, like, you're gonna be able to see like I made a typo on this page. Like, don't read what it's on there. I have no idea what's on there. Oh, this is Seventh Virtue. This is fine. That's fine. But like, you can see like I cross things out, and like it's kind of cool. Like I find it cool to look back on like, you know, old things when I was like changing words or whatever, like from when I was 16 or something. It's cool. So that's how I like have kind of like gotten over like that fear. But yeah, the permanence thing really impacted me too. I never used to write in pen ever. I used to always write in pencil. Like all through high school, writing notes, even in university. It was only when, yeah, more recently, I even got erasable pens when I was in university because I got so anxious about not being able to erase. Got a fountain pen and it's so good, but I'm also afraid of breaking it. Yeah, the fountain pen's really fun. It depends on the paper. Oh, I didn't get to show you. I did post this on my personal Insta, but I can never tell if you can actually hear me when I like roll away from the microphone. So I always like yell, but maybe I'm being too loud. You know how I showed you that I made paper? Well, I made a little notebook out of it. Now, is it extremely fragile? Yeah. Will it fall apart? Yeah. Is it like barely writable because like most of the pages are like torn up? Absolutely. Did I like not even properly bind it because like I didn't care? Like, yeah, is it crooked? Yeah, because this is literally what it looks like. This is not like it's crooked. Yeah. Does it matter? No. Did I have to repair parts of it with tape? Absolutely. But I made this. okay? I made this paper out of an egg carton. And because it was an egg carton and I didn't have like a proper like mold, the paper's quite thick, which means it's like it's really quite fragile. Like if I folded it in half, it would break, it would chip. So I had to like loose leaf bind it. So happy with this. Very happy with it. It's literally only got barely any pages. It looks giant because the pages are so thick, but anyway, you can write on it. Oh, I'm getting recommendations. Sorry, I'm just talking about pens. Pens are so amazing though. My physics teacher handed me a pencil yesterday. I struggled to write with it. Yeah, I liked pencils because the sensory feeling of like my writing utensil is really important to me, or it used to be. Now I don't really care so much, but pencils were the only thing I could write with because of the sensory feeling. Celia highly recommends Bora Chung's collection, Curse Bunny and Your Utopia. Okay, cool. I'm gonna go on my library app and see if they have that. Thank you. And oh, also they're pretty short. You know me. That's exactly what I'm trying to read. Very short things. Let me look it up. Let me see if I can find. I hope they have it. I'm lucky that I have like a pretty big. Yes, yes, a big library. Ooh, the thing of Curse Bunny looks so good. The cover. I have a pretty big library, so they usually typically have everything. Yay! Okay, placing my holds. Is it gonna take like 16 weeks? Maybe 23 weeks and 16 weeks. You know what? That's the pace I read books. I can't draft on paper only because I find my writing so unaesthetic. Listen, I'm gonna put you on. I thought my handwriting was ugly too. Like, let me find something that is not like. If you follow my side blog, you know exactly what I'm saying. Let me find something. Where's the Seventh Virtue page? Oh, here is this page. I thought my handwriting wasn't aesthetic either. Then my sister comes downstairs yesterday and she's like, "Can I like flip through your like notebook because like I think it's just so cool. Like it looks like really aesthetic because like my handwriting is like it's not ugly. It's just like not readable to anybody but me. Because I write between print and like cursive, just I don't know, whatever's fastest. And you know what? You think it's bad, and then you get like all the pages, and it looks so cool. So you know what? Even if your handwriting is unaesthetic, the minute you have a whole bunch of pages of it, it looks so cool. You know, just think of it like you're like a famous writer, like 50 years from now or whatever. They discover your notebook, which would be a disaster. I need to put a note in this, by the way, that says, "No one look at this." But that's how I kind of feel about it. It makes me feel kind of cool. I used to write by hand a lot. I'm very behind. I'm sorry. But I stopped because it felt like I was just writing the same thing over and over again. Interesting. Interesting. I've never really liked writing by hand. I used to hate it and I just used to do it out of necessity because I love typing and I can type very fast. I can type like 150 words per minute. And while I handwrite very fast, I didn't really like it, you know. But then I don't know, something nice about it. It's really gotten me into it. It's gotten me into like romanticizing the routine again, but in a good way and in a sustainable way too. Anyways, Pia says, I used to write so much by hand because my school didn't allow technology. So I had to. Oh, but now my brain is too fast for handwriting. That's how I feel too. So what I have to do sometimes is I have to like go up into the margins and I have to like understand that, yes, I'm going to sacrifice some things. I might miss lines, like if I'm writing by hand. I think some of it's like kind of part of it too. It's just nice to like find parts of my writing like physically in my own hand. I think there's something special about that. It's nice. I see people annotating and highlighting in their fave books, and I get that urge too, but I just can't. I'm scared I regret it. Yeah, I don't annotate my books. First of all, because I'm not like a literary analysis person, but second of all, yeah, I don't annotate my books, but I think it's really cool that people can. I just take pictures of the parts I want to remember. Yeah, that's what I do. I take pictures of the parts I want to remember too. Charlotte's filled 13 journals since high school, so I truly have use so many different pens, but I always come back to like 30-cent Bic ballpoints. I love those. If we're talking about the same ones, like the silver ones, do you guys remember when like polymer clay pens were a thing on YouTube, like in the polymer clay community? That specific Bic pen, you can actually bake it in the oven. Not saying that you should do that because I actually have no idea if you can actually do that, but I used to like make so many customized like polymer clay pens. I'd love to do that. Again, I have to look it up. I also write between cursive and print. It never got better. Yeah, no, I learned cursive in school. Like, I don't think people learn cursive now. But what's funny is I never wrote in cursive, and I remember in one of my French classes, because like I'm Canadian, I took French classes like for 10 years and can barely say anything now. So when in one of my French classes, my French teacher was so impressed by one of like the new students who wrote everything in cursive, and I'm talking about like the cursive where they used to just like they used to have it on the wall, like, and it was like A, and then you little A, like all like the bougie looking cursive or whatever. They had the font looking cursive in their handwriting. Now, I never ever wrote like that, but in about grade 8, I was sick and tired of how slow handwriting was because I hated writing by hand, and I realized that cursive was faster. So now, like, I wish I could show you this one word, but I have no idea what's happening here. So I'm not going to. I just wrote one of the names, and like the A is in print, but then the rest of it is in cursive. So whatever's fastest, because like I said, I hate being slow. I like being efficient. Typical Gen Z brain. I need to be working at a million miles an hour. But anyways, hello. Thanks for coming, Muse. Thanks for coming. Charlotte says, I did too much literary analysis in undergrad, so I take pictures and use the highlight tool on my phone. I will not annotate. I have no thoughts left. Yeah, I have never really liked like English and like literary analysis. Where I think I'm actually like more actually now that I'm older. I probably would enjoy that a lot more. But when I was younger, all up until like, I don't know, maybe 20, some relatively recently, I didn't like it, so I never did it. But now I kind of have fun doing it for my own writing. I made a video on that last year. If you missed it, it was like the real reason you're a bad writer. Clickbait ass title. Really, the only purpose of that was to get people who are like going into the videos hoping they're gonna like get yelled at by a writing guru, actually like realize that they can be nice to their writing. I like doing that in my videos. Oh, you took French too. Yeah, I was really good at it because like I really wanted to be the best at it, and I was the best at it in my class. And then when I got to grade 8, because I used to be like really like the best at everything when I was a kid, like much younger, undiagnosed autistic. Oh, but then like things like really like leveled out by the time I got older, and then I kind of lost motivation when other people were much better than me, which is probably not a good reason to like quit things, but that's why I did. Anyways, people don't teach cursive anymore. Yeah, I figured that they don't. I learned cursive when I was in grade 3 and grade 4 when I learned cursive, and I'm born in 2001. I don't know. How old was I when I started school? It was 2005. So that's kindergarten, senior kindergarten. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so 2010, 2010, 2011, I was still learning cursive. So but I also had like boomer teachers. Like I'm not sure if like no, like literally they were literally in baby boomers. So I don't know, maybe if they didn't for everybody in 2010, 2011. I don't know. Hated learning cursive in school. My mom had to force me to do the homework. Oh, interesting. I liked it. I think it was fun, but maybe it's because like I just like tracing over the things and like wanting it to look nice or whatever. But I was really bad at it. Like I said, I was a very messy kid. And then I don't know, perfectionism overtook me, and now I'm kind of getting back to the mess. Changing to print ruined my writing forever. No, I like my handwriting, even though it's like it's messy and I find it cumbersome to read it myself. I do like it. Pia says I've been highlighting my books ever since I got my own copies that I knew I could ruin. I only recently started annotating, but annotating for me is writing down my silly thoughts on the book. That's really awesome. I think I'm trying to connect more with like the writing of other people. Because my connections with writing are usually so centered around my own writing, because writing special interest, blah blah blah. So yeah, recently I've been really connecting more. Like I have one copy of Cleanness, but I don't want to annotate it, like because I just love when it's. I think also as like somebody who loves book design, I just love seeing like the pages and how they were typeset and everything. I just find it satisfying. So I need like a separate copy, I think. But I don't usually have like I have a lot of physical books, but like usually I read ebooks because I borrow from the library. Was homeschooled. I did learn cursive, but to this day, 90% of my drafts are written in insanely tiny cursive. Oh, interesting. Yeah, no, my handwriting's very loopy and giant. Just whatever's easier for my hand to write. Listen, I am so curious to read this Song of Achilles because I was like, with like how people were talking about it, I was like, I think I might enjoy this. And then I saw you talking about it, and I was like, now I really need to read it. Because Pia has thoughts, and I'm so curious. So, because I've borrowed it a couple times, I haven't like read through it before. Um, I love cursive. It's so fun. I'm like a Victorian letter writer about to melt wax into a seal. When I was in school, because like I cannot like focus solely on like lectures, for example, I used to practice like writing in my left hand because I'm right-handed. And I would do like the cursive alphabet like in my left hand. I got quite good at it. Not great. It was pretty jagged. It looked like maybe like a first grader's attempt at, but which means like if I just practice for another 15 years, it'd be pretty good. So I used to always like write in cursive in like my left hand. So that's just I there's not a lot of them. Some of the letters I can't remember what they're supposed to look like. I have to look it up. Pia has too many thoughts and they're all negative. Okay, I need to read it because I'm very curious because the way people talk about this online. But then I was like, I saw your thoughts and I was like, um, well, thank you for coming, stream hopping to HK Darkwood stream. Oh, cool. Well, have fun. Thank you for coming. I'm gonna end this stream in a second anyway, because I want to go on a walk. It's 4:30. T-Park says my handwriting is described as founding father handwriting, which is very fun to me. Like beautiful, like is how I'm thinking. One of my friends at school had like really nice handwriting. I'm always jealous of people who have like that script looking handwriting, which in a sense, like my handwriting kind of could look like that if it was like ugly. Yeah. Maybe somebody else they'd look at my handwriting and be like, looks so good. When it's being consistent, like, ooh, it can look pretty cool and like scrawly. But anyways, it seems that there's another stream and I am going to take a walk. So this seems like a perfect time to end today. This is like the longest stream I've done in a while because I was actually writing. Like, congrats to everybody because I actually wrote. I think a lot of people wrote today. I hope you have a good weekend. Hopefully see you next week. I'm trying to keep up with these even though like I'm anxious about the future and like I'm like I shouldn't pre-plan because I'm anxious about the future and there's certain things and I'm getting nervous about it. So I'm gonna try to have one next week. Look out like maybe on Wednesday. I'll see if I have something to share in terms of if I am streaming again next week. But it was nice to see you. Have a nice weekend, guys. I'm gonna sit here while the stream ends as usual. Thanks for writing with me. It was a lot of writing. I see all the goodbyes. See you. And happy Palladium Day to me because it's Palladium Day to me. If people don't know what I'm talking about, I'm sorry. Okay. I'm going to leave you with that. Okay. See ya. Bye.